Michael to connect regarding Steve's mentee, Joanna. I believe that was done, wasn't it, Steve? Sorry. Hello? Yeah?
There we go.
Oh,
yeah, and Joanna sent a post Dubai visit email, quite a profuse one. It's clearly the meetings that she's had have clearly motivated her quite considerably.
Yeah, it was really good to see that email, actually. It was a really insightful one with all the connections that she made and all the benefits that she had from it. So if any sort of thing like this could be happening between you guys with other mentees, it's really beneficial to the mentees themselves. So it was good. Yeah, keep doing that.
It was a reminder. I mean, it's, we don't always, when we're only talking to people online by Teams or Zoom, it's not always possible to pick up how people are feeling, and it made me appreciate that just how depressing it can be for mentees as they go through the grind of looking for jobs and sending off CVs, not getting replies or getting rejections, and they do, and after a while they do start to question their value. So I'd forgotten just how important it is to give them the confidence that they have value to help them through the process. And I'm very grateful to all the people in Dubai that she was able to get and see. And it's clear that helping people get out there and network and understand the different roles out there is just so important, and to help keep them going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really appreciate that. Okie dokes. So number 6, that's again with Kerry. I'll have to touch base with him. Number 7 was done. Let me get that up for you guys again. Okay. Number 8, Jamie Lowe. I have been in contact with him, but no responses yet. Again, with Will and Christian, no response, but given notice. Number 10, with yourself, Tom, with Gary CV.
I went back to Gary with my notes.
Yeah.
He said he was going through the...
Yeah, he is. So, yeah.
Again, I haven't heard from him since.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's good that you've touched base previously, but it's now Karen has returned from leave, so it's with her. Okay. I checked with her this afternoon. There is also some news on Karen. She, like Andy, has come to her retirement phase. So at the moment, we're doing the invoicing and finalising and going through the final works that she's got with those mentees that she was given to finish off with. But after this, she will be leaving us. So at the moment, we are exploring options with the services that she does provide and to see whether we will continue them or not.
Someone's joined in. So just to be clear, Karen did the CV review service for us, and she did the Spotlight profiling tool with us. I think it was just those 2 main ones, wasn't it? So we'll have to source, see what other alternatives that we can find in the short term. Hopefully, any of your mentees that need support with, just updating their CV, that you as mentors can give them the basic guidance amongst you until we can find, a separate service that would be, that we can use. If any of you got any suggestions, we're open to it, obviously. So just to bear that in mind.
Yeah, and just to manage the expectations of your mentees while we're in this phase of, sussing the next steps out.
Yeah.
Okie dokes. So then,
I think he dropped out. And then just the
Connection.
final 2 points or 3 points.
Yeah, final 3 things. We've got the podcast. We checked in with Nate and James, who were also supporting Will doing it. They aren't able to continue the podcast without Will's assistance. So again, that's another avenue that we're going to be exploring to see if we can extend it ourselves. We do have the remaining podcasts that were recorded that we can filter on to keep us going for a couple of months. And then we'll carry on, hopefully, with that, because I can see it's been quite beneficial, the podcast, and it's really interactive, which is good. And then number 12, with Tom, have you heard anything from Avengy? Okay, we'll chase up on withdrawal status there. I'll get in touch if I can. And then Gareth, I did contact Yevgen, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So I'll be in touch if I do. But I have given him until the 18th of June to get back to us. But we'll see. So yes, I think that's all the actions. We'll come up with some new ones as we go through everyone's feedback and updates. So, is there anyone that would like to go first? There isn't as many as I thought there would be today, but does anyone need the time to head off early and want to go first?
I'm not sure how long I've got, because I've got my, and I apologise in advance if you can hear Moana in the background. I'll go first just in case I need to jump off for her. But
No worries.
yeah, so my mentee is Sarah Bloomer, so she's second officer with Fred Olsen offshore, and she's just really exploring options at the moment. She knows, I think she'd like to move ashore now, but she is really wants to get her master's ticket, which she thinks she'll be able to do next year. So I think she's just, like, rightly so, just sort of pre-planning and thinking about options for next year onwards. So we've just had a couple of initial calls so far, and I did point her over to the Spotlight thing, which Karen was able to help us with, so that was good. So she's done that, and she's going to send me her results over. We've started working on her CV. I've given her some tips on that, and we're due to have another call in the next week or so. But yeah, she's just looking at various options. She's based in Norfolk way, and she doesn't really want to relocate, so I think location is probably going to be the biggest thing for her. But yeah, really lovely, really nice, and just open to all options at the moment. She's taking all the feedback on board, and she's in no rush at all, which is great.
Okay,
Good. That sounds good.
yeah, very positive. And hopefully we'll hear from Helen to catch up with you shortly.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes, which will be good.
Perfect.
Okie dokes. Moving on, who wants to go next? Thanks, Nicola.
If she got to take on another, you need to check if they got them to take on more.
Yeah, I've already checked Nicola. It's checked already, so all fine. No one's in a rush.
Just someone.
Let's go with Rod. He's had a couple of newbies recently.
Yeah, 2 mentees. Stuart Mackay, spoke to him about a week ago. We just had the one discussion to date. He's a master on research ships, the James Cook and the Discovery, been a master for about 5 years, I guess. He's really just looking to see what's out there. Either, I think he's got to the stage where either he decides I'll remain as master for the next 20 or 30 years, or change a career and come ashore. He lives in North Ayrshire in Scotland. He has a young family. He's not really looking to move, although he wouldn't mind some travel with a shore-based job. As far as I can see, the main difficulty will be trying to find something that's anywhere near as interesting as the job that he has at the moment.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah, he's going away at the end of the month, so we've agreed to speak again on the 26th. So I'll follow it up then.
Okay.
And then my other recent mentee, Martin Marek. I won't try and pronounce his surname because it looks pretty much unpronounceable. He's a third officer. He's at sea at the moment. Back on the 14th of June. He lives in Rome. We just agreed that he'll contact me when he's back home a little bit later in the month, and we'll have our first call then.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you for that, Rod. Okie dokies, moving on. Jeffrey, we've not had the pleasure of having you last time, so would you like to jump in?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, hi. Sorry, I was slightly delayed coming in and joining you. I'm currently lecturing all this week in Amsterdam, and the lecture didn't finish until about 3 minutes before I joined you, so apologies for being slightly late. I have, unfortunately, very little to report, because I haven't heard from any of my mentees for a while, despite a couple of requests. Young Ben Lancaster, out in Switzerland, who wants to go to Switzerland. I haven't heard squeak from him for must be 3 months now.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what he wants me to do. I'm not sure I can help him unless Captain Keith, who has a job now on a Thames clipper, so he's still on board and enjoying it very much. And at the moment, doesn't really want to move, although I've suggested a few things to him. I've suggested a few things to him which might assist, but at the moment he wants to stay put, driving clipper ships up and down the Thames.
Okay.
So for the time being, you may want to take him off my books, but I'm perfectly happy to keep him there. Not an issue, it's not a problem.
Can't hear you very well, Jeff. Can't hear us either.
Deep silence. So you may perhaps want to chase them query. And I'm ignoring Valerie Chetner in this conversation.
Jeffrey, can you hear us?
So Steve and I do still talk to her just to give her guidance, but she's no longer coming ashore. That's all I have to say.
That's all.
The last bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear you very well, and we weren't sure if you could hear us. Sorry. But what I'll do is I'll be able to, get everything I can from the recording, and if not, I'll give you a call afterwards. Tomorrow.
Steve, just now, it'll take no more than 20 seconds to repeat the basics of what I said. Namely, there is the captain who's currently on the Thames Clipper service, so he has come ashore, he has found a job. And right now, he's happy with that, and I'm keeping in touch with him in case there's anything new, which is on offer. Ben Lancaster, Switzerland, not a word, silence.
Sure.
Likewise, the other two, silence.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I'll chase up Ben and see what's happened to him, and then we'll go from there. Who wants to go next? Should we go for Stephen?
Yes.
Great. Just checking you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, a lot of the effort for May was with Joanna Kaif in discussing her trip to Dubai, helping her set up the interviews, and then a debrief. As a consequence of the debrief, I suggested she should send in the email because it's been so beneficial to her. I had a face-to-face meeting with Alan Dixon, who's, I think he's second engineer with CalMac, who's standing by their new build ferries at the moment. And if ever you want a lesson in how not to design and build a ferry, then he is the right person to speak to. It's a very frustrating experience for him. Had an interesting conversation. He's quite, he's obviously, he's got his combined chief's ticket, so he's got both steam and motor tickets, which is quite rare these days. and he's a very bright guy, and he's quite inventive, sort of interested in designing things, interested in risk and safety. So I pointed him towards Lloyd's Register because they've got the Lloyd's Register Safety Accelerator, where the Lloyd's Register charity invests in new products that make our lives and ships' lives safer. And I think Classification Society might be a good route for him to have a look at, and he hadn't considered that before. So that was quite useful for him. I've had ongoing sort of in the margins discussions with Captain Erastus and also with Bellew, as probably Jeffrey has too. And that's it. But the face-to-face meeting with Alan Dixon, we spent about an hour and a half together before he got his train back to Scotland, was really helpful. And the more, it's difficult, I know, but when we get the chance for face-to-face meetings, I can recommend it. They're much more valuable because a lot more tends to get said than it normally does.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have that, that face-to-face is, you see their reactions, how they're actually feeling and everything. And it's a very personable experience. So I think Michael's trying to encourage, if they're UK based, a face-to-face as an introduction, which is quite nice, which I know is always difficult, but if it's possible, then yeah, I would encourage it, absolutely. Okay, lovely.
Thanks a lot. Please excuse me if I disappear. I'm a bit like Jeffrey, juggling with different things.
No worries.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye, Stephen. Kim, would you like to go ahead?
Yep. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The main one I've been in touch with since about November last year, Vladislav. He went back on the ship actually as soon as I got in touch with him for a good 4 or 5 months. But we've had a little back and forth by email. He's just completed his mates, I believe. Wants to come ashore, but is unsure what to do. He applied for the pilot apprentice intake with ABP in the last week or so, but I don't think he got an interview for that one. But yeah, he seems quite happy with everything that's going on. He doesn't seem he's worried about bothering me though. That's the only thing. He's sort of like, I'll email him and ask how it's going and say feel free, get in touch anytime. And he's very hesitant and sort of like likes to power on himself, I think. So, but yeah, no, he seems more than happy and he's gradually making progress, and we're just trying to work out what he actually wants to do.
Okay.
The other one, Missal, I think I was assigned him in January and I've still had no contact with him at all. So I don't know if you want to chase that one up.
Yeah,
I think he came from somebody else that he also hadn't been in touch with. So possibly, I guess he's not engaged at all with this one.
Yeah, I'll double check on that. Thank you. Okay.
Right. And then, yeah, the other one you've only assigned me today, so I haven't heard anything from him just yet either. So
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, that email was sent off very briefly just before the meeting, so hopefully hear something in the days.
Just as a general comment, when you assign a new mentee, we do say that they're supposed to contact you within a week. If you don't hear from them, say within that week or couple of weeks at the most, please do let us know so that we can then kind of follow up with them. Don't let it go for months and then you're not able to offer your support to them, because we do give them a guidance and a time frame, of when they should be contacted and how the program runs, because we don't want them to be wasting your time. So please do let us know, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Okie dokies, thanks, Kim. Should we move on to John?
Yeah, hello, good evening, everyone. My mentees, I've got Terence Kelly, who's pretty much off the system now. He got a job with Stena Ferries as a second engineer, and also Night Chief, who says that, ironically enough, he's quite happy, although technically he's still at sea, although he's looking to upskill as part of like part-time education and move into some non-maritime based roles ashore. So I think he's fine and he could be taken off my list of
Okay,
Who's
sure.
that one?
mentees.
Uh,
The
Who
other,
was that one, John? Sorry.
Terence Kelly.
Oh, Terence. Okay,
yeah.
the same person.
Yeah,
Right,
he's-
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
William, I've him too. He doesn't really contact me much unless I reach out to him. He was applying for a job as a pilot in Wexford, but he's told me that he hasn't heard back from him, and he's since changed jobs from working from North Star to Sentinel Queen. But yeah, he doesn't seem too active in trying to help himself. So yeah, it's been quite difficult. So
Okay.
not much update with him. And I've been recently assigned Stephen Heafield. And yeah, seeing this meeting today in my calendar prompted me to reach out to him. So I spoke to him on WhatsApp and arranged a meeting to speak to him on Thursday. And also I asked for a copy of his CV. He's a chief engineer living in Lincoln in the east. And he's currently temping as a chief engineer on super yachts. But he's got 3 young kids, so he doesn't really want to relocate. And he's looking for a job in some kind of green industry where you can help the world. So once again, it's pretty ironic that he's working on super yachts that don't do anything apart from
Yeah, that's quite a
burn oil and pleasure. So yeah,
change of heart there, isn't it?
yeah, a bit strange there. But yeah, I'll get in touch with him and I'll have a meeting with him on Thursday afternoon and see what he wants to do. And put him in touch with a few of the recruiters that we use. Hopefully they'll be able to get him because of his background and he's got a lot of experience as chief engineer. They may be able to get him some interviews, but being based in Lincoln, I know it might be quite hard. Yeah, that's all for me really.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you very much. And again, I really appreciate when I reach out to you guys and you have the capacity and availability to take on new people. It means a lot to us because we do have quite a few people coming forward on the programme. And as you all know, it's very, very beneficial to them. So thank you again. Gareth?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, Meg, when I said save the best till last, I was joking, but there we go. So,
It
no,
seems
no.
to move me the way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. No, so I've only got one mentee at the moment, Andy Dunmore, sort of based in the northeast. So I think I've been in touch with him for a couple of months. I haven't. It has been pretty quiet, but when I initially spoke to him and we had a good chat, I was trying to gear him up because he's an AB. He was on the Antarctic ship, you know, the Sir David Attenborough, and this, which was a very interesting job. But he's now a towage company in Middlesbrough. But I did say, like, because he seemed very unsure about what he actually wanted to do, and I said, you know, that's fine because you know you obviously wanted to make the change, but you need to get a feel for something, you know, something that entices you or something that you want to do to come ashore, because you know there are a lot of options. And I did say to him, because he finished his cadetship, so didn't do it. Sorry, he left his cadetship early, didn't complete his officer of the watch for personal reasons, which is fine. But like I said, it's not, as we know, as we've talked before, it's not the be all and end all to have a marine ticket by the deck or engine, but it does have some advantages depending on what position you're in certain jobs, etc. But as he's got the sea time, he was hoping to maybe get his officer of the watch, which would then give him a slight advantage. So he's applied for the Slater Fund to try and get the funding to do this. He said he's put in the forms and he's got a good reference from a former captain, but he's thinking it might be September to start. So I said, you know, to keep in touch with that. And I said, what's the plan after that? And he said, well, hopefully then to get a shore job again. I don't know what that is, the sort of thing we're on. And I don't know whether, again, it's probably worth leaving for the minute because I've said to update me. But if he is going to go for that and the officer of the watch thing, he's probably better to sort of pause the mentorship, etc., until he completes that, because it could be, you know, well into next year. You know, I don't know. But I say we're keeping in touch, and he's just I mean, I don't know too much of these towage companies, but he said SMS Towage, which I think is fairly well known, has now been taken over by Beluda Towage or something. So I didn't know that. So he says there's a little bit of jiggery pokery. I think the jobs are safe at the moment, but it's like anything, it's always initially, and then things change. You don't know, so he's a bit uncertain about certain things, but hopefully it'll be okay. But that's obviously on his mind as well, just to change your company, etc. But yeah, apart from that, I say let's just see how things go, and if there's anything, I'll update you, Meg, if there's anything I hear of, or if he does get in or whatever like that, we'll probably hear pretty soon. Thanks.
Sarah,
Yeah,
so
go on then.
Gav, about that, what's his name?
Andy.
Andy Dunmore. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So-
don't think has he applied yet? I don't
No,
think
if it maybe submitted an application on the next round for Slater,
Oh, does that go through you, does it?
it does, yeah.
Oh, sorry, right, okay. Oh, that's interesting then. Okay, I
Yeah,
wonder which
so-
channel he's gone through then.
But I mean, if he does submit an application, then I guess that then there would be no reason for him to continue with the Common Assure program, because
Yeah.
the purpose of the Slater is to help them with a career at sea.
Right,
So
okay.
it kind of defeats the object. So
Yes, yeah,
if he does pursue that, then it would definitely cross our table
yeah,
in a different way. And
Yeah.
I would just highlight that to him as well, just to be
Yes,
clear what
definitely.
his expectations are. So we'll
Yes.
keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I say, because I think he does want to come ashore because he's got, his partner now, a dog, this kind of thing. He's done the deep sea thing, but again, I think he's just a bit unsure about what's out there. And I said because he's in the northeast, I don't have the sort of connections there, but just needs to sort of put some feelers out to see what options are there. And then if he does decide on a few options, we can obviously sort of help him then. So that's where we are with that. You mentioned in the agenda thing there with Yevgeny, Meg. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And then I got your email today about Glenn. So I haven't had a chance to have a proper look over that yet. I say initially I can't see it being a problem, but I just need a chance to properly read it and see if I can help with that. So that shouldn't be a problem. No problem.
Yeah, there's no rush on that, Gareth.
Yep,
He's one of Will's old mentees.
Right, okay. Has he been a mentee for a while? I can't remember his name coming up before.
Since last year. So
Right, okay.
Will has a lot of, he did a really good job in handing over all of his notes and information per mentee. So once you've got your introductions out of the way, then I can send all of those details to everyone accordingly. So yeah, no rush, take your time in assessing and then get back to me and we'll set up the introduction.
No problem. Okay. And I was just going to say, John Steve Heathfield, I'm pretty sure I say with him many times, if I'm right. So yeah, I've lost touch with him a wee bit. Nice guy actually, but yeah, I've lost touch with him a bit. But the name rings a bell, and when the Lincoln, I think that's the one. So that was just an observation there. And I was going to say, Rod, your first mentee you talked about, is he from North Asia? Did you say?
North Ayrshire, yeah. Are you on
Ayrshire.
mute? Oh,
Oh, you're on mute, Rod. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, North Ayrshire.
Yeah, that's right.
Scotland, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. No, all I was going to say is like because I live in Glasgow anyway, and it's surprising, how many jobs you hear ship management training, this kind of thing. So if ever you got in a conversation and he was maybe a bit unsure of what options there are, reach out if you want to, because I can certainly, help out with that if there was, just to sort of have a conversation, because I've got my ears to the ground. Yeah, that's all. So I thought if you do need any help, then let me know.
Okay. I'll do so, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it from me, Meg. Thank you.
Jeff?
Thank you very much, Gareth.
Jeff?
Gareth, I just wanted to suggest, if you can hear me.
Are you covering the speaker by any chance, Jeffrey?
It's a bit muffled. Okay. Talk up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It covers the speaker when you do that.
Quick point for Gareth.
Is he on his phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Gareth, can you hear me?
If you maybe take the phone away from the table, it might help slightly, but I don't know.
Just hold the phone.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, sorry
Yes.
about that. Gareth,
That's
can you
fine.
hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Must remember.
think you mentioned Andy as your
Yeah.
first.
Oh.
I think what I heard, was his name Andy, is that right?
Andy.
Have you got your finger over the bottom of the phone now, Jeffrey? Oh, oh,
Okay.
Maybe it's a connection from all the way from Holland.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I can hear you now.
Don't move.
Gareth, did you mention your first mentee just now is somebody called Andy?
Yes.
And I think you mentioned he might be looking for something in the northeast.
Yeah.
You may want to consider the large group known as Casper, C-A-S-P-E-R, Casper Shipping, who have many fingers in many pies. And if it assists you, I know the managing director, Michael Shakesheff, and his father, Kevin Shakesheff, for over 25 years. If that's of any use, when you take a look at the Casper Shipping website, they've been around for over 150 years as a family group.
That's that.
And they have, as I say, lots of fingers in lots of pies that may assist. And if you want an introduction, ask me, I'd be happy to help.
Brill.
That's great.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and actually, last but not least,
Yes.
The best one. Well, yes, exactly. The one who showed up.
Loud and
Yeah.
clear.
You're muted, Tom. Sorry.
Mine's be rather similar to Jeffrey's, I'm afraid. Two active mentees. Well, Alfredi, who's doing chief mates exams.
yeah.
I mean, I reached out to him asking if he was interested in Kerry's surveying course, which he said yes. I get the distinct. I'm not sure he really knows what he's looking for, which is fine, obviously. But he just kind of said, yeah, that seems interesting enough, put me down. But he doesn't really reach out for anything. And I think I said in the last meeting that I have had discussions with him where he seems to think that we're something of a recruiting agency. And I think maybe when you reached out to him talking about sort of job placements and things, and he just said, yes, let me know what you have.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. And also we have the difficulty that he's in Pakistan, and the discussions I've had with him, he's only getting so far. He's going for commercial roles, but he's only getting so far because he can't go to the in-person interviews.
Yeah.
I did suggest to him that might be a lot to ask, but that if he had people to stay with in the UK or in Europe, that he go out and try and go to these things in person.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem too keen on that idea, really.
Yeah, I do remember those discussions.
And I suggested that, okay, well, in that case, maybe it's good to go to technical roles and transfer over to commercial once you've got your foot in the door, which again, he didn't seem particularly interested in.
Okay.
It sounds like at the moment he's concentrating on his mates' exams. In my initial discussion with him, he actually said that he was leaning towards seeing it through to masters and then coming ashore. So
okay, well,
one of these guys that might just be floating for a little while.
Sure. Okay. Well, in that case, I can reach out to him and.
I mean, well,
if he wants to stay on the program and.
He seems to be, but.
Okay.
Captain Sriderson, I've not heard from this month actually. I reached out to him for the surveying course as well. I haven't had anything back to him, so I'll give him another chase and see where he's at.
Yeah. All right.
That's all I've got.
All right. Okie dokies. Thank you. Lovely. A few people to reach out to then and see their status on the program. But otherwise, I think we'll take some actions of Jeffrey and Gareth connecting up, and same with Rod and Gareth. But we can put those into the actions in the minutes afterwards. Now for something exciting that we sent over to you guys. We send out a mid-programme survey to all of the mentees that are currently on the programme, and in recent times we haven't had too much interaction with it, whereas for this reason I don't know why actually, but we've had quite a good chunk of people come back. I sent it out to 54 and nearly half came back, and we had 14 full completed surveys and 12 partial, I think, but all in all, great feedback from that. So let me just share my screen and we can run through some of the key points there on it. And of course, this is something you guys can, if you're interested, to take your own time to look through it. But it is really beneficial. So the key kind of points we took from it are within the Marine Society team. Obviously, we contact all of the mentees and meet and greet with you guys. But it's great to see that we have the mentees also reporting back to us with their updates as well as yourselves. And that's normally within every 3 months, if not weekly, and also bi-monthly as well, which is nice to see. But even better is that all of the mentees with their mentors don't exceed speaking with you guys more than 3 months, which is great. So 21% speak with their mentor and mentee at least once a week, and then majority monthly, which is really good to see, and having that connection so regularly. Also, really good feedback on how comfortable the mentees feel with talking with their mentors and mentees. All of them have strongly agreed that they're comfortable with raising anything with us, and as well with their mentors, and that they feel they're really supported well. So that's really good to see.
I feel comfortable raising something fun, challenging. So that's practically all of them strongly agree, or neither agree or disagree, that they feel confident in speaking to their mentors, which is kind of part and parcel of the program. So that's really good. And also finding my mentor easy to communicate with is strongly agree. So that that's an excellent testament to the the purpose of the program.
Well, and the service that you guys give. Yeah, which is fantastic.
The finding value in the mentorship. So question 5, what's the best thing about the support you've received so far during your time on the programme from the Marine Society and from your mentor? And this was kind of open-ended. So this is where we've got some good, feedback.
From mentees themselves. And these, I think you can take your own time to read through. But they're all pretty positive, and those that have a question mark next to them, I've already checked them and they've either been resolved, or we've spoken to them and approached them about it already. And then what's really useful is what would the mentees like to see improved about the support that they receive whilst on the programme. And majority of them are brilliant. Some of them that stuck out say that they'd like to see more information on the LinkedIn group, which is something that we can work on. I don't know if any of you have any suggestions of what you might think is beneficial on there besides jobs. Someone has mentioned that they thought it would be more of a discussion-based page, but even when we've tried to put in polls, there's not been any response there. Yeah. So it would be quite
it takes them to kind of drive the conversation as well. So as much as we try to lead it by throwing out questions, we're not getting the bite back. So I don't know what more we can do. We can try again with polls, but it does take them to drive the
It's a
conversation.
limiting factor, isn't it? I think
Mm.
we almost need to continue to push them to stress to them that this is there. This is
For them.
for them to
Exactly.
lead.
Yeah.
And we're just there. They are put in front of us, and we're there to help them as much or as little as they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sparked an idea of maybe even just, leaving something open on there to say, if you'd like to share an experience, please do, and then see what happens.
Yeah,
But
you could have a pinned Q&A or something at the top, just
Mhm.
so if they have any questions for us to look at.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's a good idea, actually.
Mhm.
They do that
Yeah.
on the forums.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I've never really thought about that. Brilliant. Okay, well, this is why we do it, And the other one that we got back was a question mark, was someone reached out to get the CV service. And funnily enough, I looked into it and it was Will. So I think I'm going to chase him up on that because it has been done. And Karen did respond that he hadn't communicated with her at all. So I think if you're happy, John, I'll speak with him, or at least, send an email out and see what his status is and where he's at. As it may be a case that because he's been so inactive, we'll have to, see if he wants to stay on the programme or not. But yeah, then finally, another point to go on was how does the support and guidance you have received so far compare or to similar assistance you've received from other organisations? And 46.15% said that they've never received anything like it before in a positive way. And 30.77% said that they've never received anything better. So, there's one person there that I can't even identify who that is, but they didn't leave an email. Yeah. So I wasn't able to chase that up. But all in all,
be worse than
yeah. Unless they clicked the wrong wrong answer.
It's what we
It
call an
must be it.
outlier in survey terms. You disregard it.
Exactly. And then lastly, what I found was really helpful is that, the services that they and the resources that we provide and they like to use. And in order, it went LinkedIn, newsletter, podcast, CV service, Learn at Sea, Learn at Shore and Spotlight. So, if there's any other suggestions of services that could be beneficial, obviously let us know. But I think, they're the services that we do it. LinkedIn is one of our most used and we use it a lot to promote and communicate on. So I think that's a really good thing there. And it shows that the newsletter does get read.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that. And the podcasts are in there already as well. So they're doing running.
We have raised hands now.
Yes.
Can I go first? Because I bet I know what Jeff's going to say, but I picked up that I've said, I know we've got new mentors since I mentioned this last time, but we do have an arrangement with Lloyd's Maritime Academy with a pretty hefty discount. And as Jeff is an academic course director with them, as was I, but they are brilliant courses. So do mention that they get, I think it's 15%, isn't it? On those courses. They're really good professional courses.
15% discount.
Yeah, I noticed no one has registered on the survey of having used that, but in case you weren't aware, you're probably aware of their prospectus. They have a huge number of diplomas and certificates for professional services. Anyway, over to you, Jeff. What should you would endorse that, I'm sure, as you teach on them.
Can't hear you, Jeff.
No sound.
Are you on mute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think you have to hold it.
I am holding it. I am holding the phone now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay. Just a small suggestion regarding the LinkedIn group, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Suggestion only, ignore it if you wish. You are aware of all of the backgrounds of all the mentees. I wonder whether some of them might feel comfortable talking to each other.
We're really struggling to hear you, Jeff. I'm so sorry.
We're struggling to hear you again.
Can I talk as loudly as I can?
Yes.
Put it in the chat.
No.
Could you type in the
Is
chat?
that better?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will start again.
Yeah.
It must be frustrating for you as it is for me. I'm sorry, it must be something to do with the air in Amsterdam. Sorry about that. But what I was suggesting was that you know the backgrounds of all the mentees.
Mhm.
Maybe they would be comfortable talking to other mentees as well as their mentors, and they may wish perhaps to meet up digitally or in person, maybe, to compare notes from one mentee to another with similar backgrounds, and that may trigger some ideas for them. It's just a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that is exactly what the LinkedIn group is for. But maybe they would need an encouragement to connect with each other through us mentioning that. But primarily that is what I would say LinkedIn does open doors for, is to people to connect with each other. So, you know, if we put out a question or a Q&A with something that encourages people to bring through their experiences, then they can connect with each other that way. But yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Just to give them a bit of a nudge, because they may not always look at the LinkedIn group.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, it's a good idea. Thank you.
What about a mentees group chat?
Or like a WhatsApp group chat. Yeah, that's something we could potentially look into. There'll be quite a few numbers that would have to,
Yeah.
and all the
Only if there was traction on it.
Yeah. But that again, we could, you know, put something on the LinkedIn chat and see if there's a reaction of if they'd like to do that. But yeah, no, that's definitely an idea.
They've always raised the issue of confidentiality. And as much as we say that LinkedIn is a closed group, no one else can see what's being said, no employer can check them out, you know, I think there is this perception, and likewise WhatsApp, there just may be this view that, you know, what they're putting out there is being seen, whatever. But we need to really reiterate that it is a private group, you know, and all the rest, and everything is, you know, Chatham House and all of that. So just to protect confidentiality. Yeah. Otherwise, good idea. Otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. I think from my side, that's everything that I need to go through today. We've got another 15 minutes or so. I think Daryl needs to give a few updates. So I'll hand over him when he's ready. If you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any immediate thoughts on the survey, and I do encourage you to read it. There's some really good qualitative comments, and that kind of sets up for what I just wanted to update you on, which is when you read that and you see the benefit that the mentees are gaining and the value that they see in this, and then I look on the screen and I always feel this at these meetings, the sort of wealth of maritime knowledge and wisdom in the room, and all because there's a group of people that are willing to do this, you know, pro bono and so on. It pains me to sort of then think we've got to fund this program, and that's what we are trying to do. And if there were employers in the room and in maritime services, you know, you'd think they would all want to get on board this and put their CSR budgets behind it and support a kind of program, of which there is no other program like this. There's really nothing to compete with the depth of support that we're giving these seafarers. So, you know, we know that in the room, we're all on board with this. That's why we're here doing it. And we as a charity are you know, that is our DNA, is to support seafarers, both at sea but coming ashore. So that funding question is one that's really kind of beginning to you know, there's a kind of a hard stop on this in terms of the funding that we had for the last couple of years through ITF Seafarer Trust and previously MEF, and we are still pushing hard on that. But I want to just give notice that we have to sort of have a point in time where we say, if we don't get the replacement funding, we can't take on any more mentees, because it would be wrong to set up the the expectation that the program's going to run for sort of another couple of years or whatever. So it would only be fair. And that sort of hard stop is end of July, because there's another funding round before then, which we feel kind of confident in, but that we will know by then. So that I just wanted to be transparent with you, everyone, that that's the point where we have to say, look, from that point on, we've got a period of sort of months where we're going to be kind of unfunded, or we sort of run things down, which is really hard to say. I honestly, I struggle to find why a small program like this we cannot seem to get traction with these employers. And we tried, UK Chamber of Shipping, Maritime London, Spinnaker, all of these we've gone out, we've pushed out newsletters, promotion, we've accessed their membership. We're members ourselves. So, we're only a small team. We can't go around door knocking on everyone's doors as we'd like to. We could, which is why we previously said anyone in your own networks, you're probably as well better connected than us. So to spread the word and us. But so that's really it. We have overheads, we've got staffing costs, we've got cost of resource and so on, which is where the funding is needed. So that's honestly where we are. I'm happy to answer any questions or any ideas, but we are pressing on. But I just wanted to be honest with you. So yes, Jeffrey.
Small suggestion. Can you hear me?
Yes, go on.
Small suggestion, and it may be really obvious. If you've already done it, please ignore my idea. But
No, I can't hear you, Jeff. Jeff.
Right.
who often have need for some of their youngsters.
Jeff.
And his team.
I don't hear any of
Jeffrey, we didn't catch any of that. Yeah.
Jeff, can you say it again? We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. No.
Cannot hear me?
No.
Can you, if it's a short thought, just put it in the chat.
Can you hear me?
No, it's not going to work. Listen,
No.
I'm just conscious of time. I think we can have an offline conversation, or if it's, yeah.
Can we call? Can we call you? Can we call you separately?
Yeah, we'll have a
Jeff.
conversation. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll pick up. I know
Okay.
he's generally got some really good ideas.
Yeah. Kim.
Anyone?
Kim.
Kim. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you're able to share, but what are the annual running costs of the program? What sort of level are we looking to get to?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing. It's in the order of 50k, which is what we typically, which is not, there's overheads. There's the fact of physically being here in London, there are sort of fixed overheads that we have to. So it may sound like a lot to you, but it's amazing how it doesn't take much to get up to that level with, the staffing levels.
It's not that covered everything like marketing, paying for the resources, but 50,000 is what we've worked on previously from funders.
Yeah, it's just obviously I run a business on social media, and that level of funding is quite possible, sort of like through social media and that kind of stuff, depending on audience and the benefits of the audience. Obviously, it's a lot harder to fund a closed thing where it's one-to-one support, but there could be avenues down that route if there was anyone available to look into it.
Well, that's very interesting. I think the whole concept of sponsorship maybe, or something. I'm conscious you're in that space and you've got some probably
like one viral
ways.
It's like one viral TikTok.
It's almost like one influencer, conscious of the size of your audiences, Kim, on your channel. I mean, if even one or a handful of those backed this program in a sense, or numbers, you just do the sums. It doesn't take a lot together, does it? But maybe we can have a separate call if we'd love to pick your brain on how we could
I'll have a think and happy to chat.
Sorry, sorry, missed that. Sorry, Tom had a point.
Do we go after oil majors and sort of big private companies and things? Or is it
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, well, you work for one, you know. I mean, sort of
a
shipowner, but
it's
they've got CSR budgets, have they not? You know, this is surely a program.
The market at the moment in the chartering side of things is you've got companies like, or you've got big companies, you've got big brokerage companies, got big ship owners who have made so much money.
Yeah. What do they do
over the last couple of years? And they are genuinely struggling to find out what to do with it. All brokerage spent millions on for the London Marathon buying 2 major charities entire running spots just so they could get all their teams going, and they had stuff left over. These guys have so much money and they just don't know where to put it. So if we go after sort of good through the right avenues, I don't know if I know anyone senior enough to cut any corners, but if these people usually have designated people to approach for charities and things, so maybe
they do
Clarksons or BP or something.
We have reached out, some of the, well, we got one of the P&I clubs, you know, so absolutely. I just find we're often not kind of sexy enough for them to want to sponsor, you know, because we're obviously, the Sea Cadets is the other part of our charity, and they go in and, you know, knock on the door and hold their hand out, and they get loads of money to, you know, keep our ships afloat and things like that. But we don't have the same pull. But you're right.
BP always comes to mind because they're so good at employing seafarers.
And
so it seems like something that the right ear. You tend to have enough Maritime Academy graduates in relatively senior positions that they.
Well, we know some people at BP. That's quite a good one.
Do you say Clarksons?
Clarksons, they're a name that comes up because they are a corporate body brokerage house, and so they need to explain to investors what they're doing with their money as well.
Right.
And charity is always a good thing to be able to do stuff into.
But like you said, it's also getting to the right person, isn't it?
Decision maker. So
But if
we'll keep the ideas.
We're happy to talk to each of you on these ideas and carry them forward, definitely. I'll just see what we can do with them. We've got a fundraising team, so if it's talking, we've got like bids that we can put forward if we know who will bite, who will be open to reading it. So,
but just emphasise that deadline, really.
Yes.
If I can get something more concrete by then, and all well and good, the next couple of months, really.
Yes.
I know.
But that, with that in mind, unless we've got questions or anything anyone else wants to sort of raise or suggest, then I think we can kind of wrap things up.
Any other business? Should we go around the screen? Kim, have you got anything else to add, just generally? Okay, all right, thank you. Rod?
No, nothing from me, thanks.
Okay, Gareth?
Yeah, just quickly say I'm on my phone because my computer, I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was just I messaged Andy as we were talking, and he said he has applied through the Marine Society, so maybe just keep an eye out for that, and you can obviously liaise with him accordingly, you know, how that affects the mentee program, but I just thought I'd pass that on, but nothing else from me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Can you hear me?
A bit muffled.
Go on.
I'll try and speak more loudly. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say earlier was it may be very obvious, but I believe you're in the same building or next door to the Nautical Institute, and they have plenty of youngsters who want to come ashore and are looking for the kind of help that we give. Are you in touch with John Lloyd and his team?
Yeah, we're very close with them.
We work closely with them already.
They're our tenants, so it's definitely worth conversation. I don't know if they've got funds, but they're generally asking us for funds actually. But but they've got they are a source of and they do promote what we do very well. So they buy learning short courses and stuff. So okay. Cool.
Nicola, any other business?
No, all good.
Okay, and John?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. And finally, Tom?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thanks so much.
The next meeting will be on the 3rd of September. If you can put that all in your diaries. Obviously, if there's any changes, then we'll let you know. But at the moment, it is still set in stone for that date.
Yeah.
And yeah, business as usual until further notice.
Okay. Yeah, and if you've got any kind of issues with reaching out to your mentees or you haven't heard from them, please do let us know in the meantime. We can, like chase or follow up with them in the meantime. Okay. And have a lovely summer. If any of you are going away anywhere, have a lovely summer. Let's hope we get a dry
I know some of you are off the radar for a week or so over the next couple of weeks, so enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah, the video recording will be sent over tomorrow if I can upload it properly. And then I will be in next week, so any problems, and then the minutes will be sent, next week. And then we can go from there with the actions. All right.
Okay.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Bye.
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 Stop sharing, stop recording.
Yeah.
Right. Well.
If you know any other kind of
Yeah.
big companies